Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you a preview of the 11th Parachute Division, a new French division available in the upcoming Sachet update. Please remember that this is early access and was recorded on a preview build, so what you see may be subject to change. I'm going to go through all of the units and we'll put together a quick deck. Jumping into the logistics tab, we have the VLRA. To begin with, the standard French logistics truck, where you only get 500 supply for 20 points, you get 10 on a card. So great for dotting around, but not carrying as much supply for you. Then we have the Puma Kangaroo, which comes with 1,500 supply for 55 points, and you get 4 on a card. So even better than the Chinook for forward placement, because they're cheaper, which means that if you lose one, it's not so bad. Then there's the P4 PC, which is your standard Jeep for capturing sectors. So you get 4 on a card at 100 points. And then the VBL PC, which is slightly more expensive, 105 points, but it is armored. It does have a machine gun, and there's only 3 on a card. So the armored commands are always slightly less in availability. That's the main difference. But this is actually quite a nice, fast armored command, honestly. You can also get the Puma PC, which is a command helicopter, although I'm not a massive fan of command helicopters, particularly in this case where you only get 2 on a card. Let's move over to the infantry tab. So we have the Prévôté, which are your standard 4-man military police boys with the submachine guns. Nothing too special about them. Then we have the reservists. These guys have 3 submachine guns, 6 rifles, and a machine gun for 25 points. Great fodder for charging through forests to find out where the enemy are. But other than that, not going to perform as well as some of the other options you may have. We have the leader for the Sapeur Para, which come with 8 FAMAS. So just an 8-man leader squad with the FAMAS. They also get advanced deployment because these are all para units. We have the Sapeur Para unit, which has 7 FAMAS, and the AA NF1 as its machine gun, gets satchel charges as well. Then we have the Sapeur Para with the flamethrower, the LFP54. I definitely prefer flamer units over satchels because satchels are kind of difficult to use at the moment, so flamers generally in infantry on infantry engagements are a lot more reliable. Moving on, we have the leader for the paras, normal paras, the 6 FAMAS and the 1 machine gun there. Not really an ideal loadout again as a leader, like neither of them so far really look that great as leaders. But we have the Chasseur Para as the standard infantry unit, 9 FAMAS, the AA NF1, and then the LR ACF1. I'm actually quite a big fan of this AT because it does have the 850 meter range, but it's also kind of accurate. So it's really good at sort of side sniping light to medium armor at range. So it's not too bad at all. And then we have the Legionnaire Para, which are even better. And they're super high veterancy. They come in at elite by default, and you get 6 on a card. So they have 9 FAMAS with the AANF1, and then they have the Appalache. The Appalache, of course, being the 21 penetration, in this case 75% accuracy because of the elite experience. Really, really good AT there. Then we have the Milan 1 Para and the Milan 2 Para, which are your standard Milan 1 and Milan 2 systems. The Milan 2 being obviously a lot better with the 24 penetration, 2,450 meter range with the 57% accuracy by default because of the improved experience again on these units. So it is something to point out across the board here is all of the infantry is by default at least veteran experience, except from the Aeromobiles. Moving on to the Aeromobiles, we have the Aeromobile Leader, which is a 6-man leader squad with just the FAMAS. Only 110 points though. And then we have the Aeromobiles themselves, which are 9 FAMAS, the machine gun, and the Appalache. Again, the Appalache being very good. So this is going to be a more affordable spammable infantry squad. I say affordable. They're not even like any cheaper than the Legionnaire Para, so you're definitely going to be getting the Legionnaire Para in your deck first. Then we have the Gruppe Antichar Paras, which are the anti-tank Paras, with the double Appelas. Even more scary. So you're going to be focusing a lot on using these Appelas to kill enemy tanks, because the tank tab is not so great in this one. But before we move on to the tank tab, we have the artillery tab. It's not very big, so we'll get through it quickly. First of all, the 120mm mortars. 6,700 meter range with the 1.2 HE. Great for just suppressing an area and also providing smoke. It's mainly what you'd use mortars for. You can also get 81mm mortars on the trucks. So 4,925 meter range. These aren't actually terrible because you can move them around more often to help just support engagements by lowering enemy cohesion, which allows you to stun enemy units faster, and then also, again, providing smoke. That's what these will be really useful for. And then finally, you have some 105mm, but I'm really not a fan of this caliber. It's funny, I hate the 105 caliber in Still Division 2 as well, but it's just because the HE is at that point where it's like you almost always, like you get so close to killing something, but you never quite do. And then it gets repaired. It's just really frustrating. Whereas something with like 4 HE, you generally get the kill before it can get replaced. Anyway, moving on to the tank tab. This is why you're going to be relying a lot on ATGMs and AT weapons like the Appelas, because you have no tanks. The P4 Milan Para is in this tab with the 24 pen 2,450 meter range, 57% accurate Milan 2, of course. And then you can also get the VLRA Milan 2 as well. This Milan has just more ammo because it's on a truck rather than on a Jeep. And that's pretty much the difference there. And then you have the ERC 90 as your only option in the tank tab. It is fast, great flanking tool, but no way is it going to stand up against anything with decent front armor because it has no front armor itself. So it's definitely more of a hit and run unit with the 15 penetration, 2,100 meter range, 57% accurate gun due to the experience again being veteran. And that's one thing that's actually quite nice about these HGMs is they also come in with the experienced veteran so that they get the extra veterans or accuracy on those HGMs. Moving on to the Recon tab, we have the VBL Recon, which is a 50 cal armoured vehicle, very fast with very good optics, quite nice actually for dotting around since you get 9 on a card. There's also the VBL Milan, which is the same with the Milan 2 system mounted on it. So this is a very good optics, good stealth vehicle with a Milan 2 on it. So going to be quite nice to accompany your other Milan 2s, as this will probably get shot last due to having that good stealth. Then there's the AML 6012. This has a 60mm launcher as its gun. In Wargame, you could indirect fire this. I'm not sure if you can here, but regardless, it might just be good for pinning down enemy infantry anyway at 1,900 meters range. Particularly since it gets accompanied by a 50 cal, which also has 1,400 meter range. There's also the AML 90 Lynx, which is another really fast vehicle with a kinetic gun, 13 penetration with 46% accuracy. Like the gun's kind of trash if you compare it to like the ERC 90 Sage, but the Lynx is okay. And it's a 60-point recon vehicle, so you can't really complain. It's going to pick off enemy APCs for you at least, and then provide machine gun fire onto enemy infantry squads. Then we have the Aclaro Para. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly or close enough. These guys are 4-man squads. They do get 3 FAMAS, a machine gun, and the LRAC. They get exceptional stealth, which is really nice. So great for ambushing with that AT. They can also be brought in with the VLRA 50, which is a 25-point recon truck. Kind of a cool vehicle, honestly. I quite like it. Then we have the Gazelle, your standard recon Gazelle. There's also the Gazelle cannon, which is a recon Gazelle cannon. And then we have the Palas SAS. Now these guys are a chunky squad. They get the 3,500 meter para advanced deployment. They've got 7 SIGs and 2 minimi para. I'm not entirely sure how good this will actually be because they rely on the satchel charge. But honestly, since they can come in with the Recon VLRA, and they also come in by default at elite experience, they could be probably worth bringing anyway. Yeah, I don't really know. I've never seen these weapons do any better than the normal weapons. That's all I have to say about that. Let's move on to the AA tab. So first of all, we have the 53 T2 Palas 20mm, which is just a 20mm. Simple as that. And yeah, not going to do too much on its own, but you can get 12 on a card for 15 points. So the idea would be that you dot a few of these around each area where you place them. You can also get the VLRA 20mm. So there's a truck variant with 9 on a card. One thing to bear in mind is they do get the veteran experience by default, and this means that it's not going to take as much time for them to level up to elite experience, which makes them obviously more efficient generally. But there is the VLRA Pamela, which is a truck with the Mistral on it, and the Mistral is actually a pretty decent AA weapon. It has 5 HE, 2,475 meter range, with some very good accuracy, particularly in this case, again, because of the experience. Like, the experience is really what makes this division, like, work. I don't think it would if it didn't have its extra veterancy. It would be a very, very lackluster division. But in this case, yeah, nice Mistral vehicle for sure. And you can also get the Mistral Pala, which is a Mistral squad, with, again, extra veterancy or experience. You get 8 on a card, 50 points. Very nice indeed. And then we have the Gazelle Celtic, which is an air-to-air helicopter with the Mistral. So the Mistral just been a really, really strong anti-air weapon, but no radar AA whatsoever. So you are kind of limited on AA range in this deck, quite significantly, actually. Moving on to the heli tab, there are a couple things I can't show here because of like NDA, which is the Gazelle Cannon and the Puma Pirate, but we've got the Gazelle Hot and the Hot 2. These have the Hot 1 and Hot 2 system, the Hot 2 being way better because of that 65% accuracy and the 24 AP compared to the 22 penetration and 50% accuracy. So definitely go for that Hot 2. And then we have the Air tab. We've got, first of all, the Jaguar with Seed. Now these, you get 3 on a card for 140 points, but you get 1 Seed missile. Now, whether or not you hit this Seed missile is less than a 50% chance. So it's less than a coin flip. Whether or not you're going to hit these. So bringing in more than 1 at a time is generally the way you get around that. But even so, like, that doesn't guarantee you're going to hit. I've not had a lot of fun using these personally. But 20% ECM, 1,114 km/h speed, not too bad. For 140 points, it doesn't feel that bad if you lose one. Then there's the Jaguar with rockets. It has those 68mm rockets on it. You get 72 of them. And it's got 20%, again, same stats as the other Jaguar. 1,114 km/h speed with those rockets. I'm not sure if it will get most of its rockets on target, though, which is something to think about. Because it's moving so fast, that is. There's also the Jaguar with the HGMs. These HGMs are pretty good. For 195 points, a 30 penetration, 60% accurate HGM is pretty good. Nice for smacking those heavy tanks about, particularly one-shotting them in the side armor. But definitely a unit worth considering you get 2 on a card for that price. And there's also a Napalm Jaguar for 195 points, but I've kind of gone off Napalm a little bit. Napalm used to be a bit stronger, where it would like splash a bit more and it would kill units around it rather than just like on top of it. But I think they reduced that a little bit. I'm not sure. So I've kind of just stopped using them in more favor of like direct attack stuff like cluster or Age of Gems and so on. But yeah, anyway, is this supposed to be Biden's special? He likes his napalm. Okay, moving on to the Jaguar HE. This comes with 4 400kg bombs. This is actually a pretty nice payload for 210 points. And you've got to bear in mind that all of these do come with, or at least the Jaguar Napalm and the Jaguar HE, come with these Magic 2 air-to-air missiles, which allow them to engage enemy helicopters and stuff as well, which is really good. So not only are you going to have the ability to engage enemy helicopters, but you can also bomb as well. And these bombs, I mean, for 400kg bombs, it's going to do a good amount of damage. It just depends like how spread out they are. And then there's the Seed 2, which is a very cool looking aircraft. It has a really nice camo. I'm not sure why the camo is different, but it looks really cool compared to the other Jaguars. Look at that. Very awesome. It'd be nice if maybe in WARNO they added the ability to like change the skins of aircraft, kind of like you could in Steel Division 2. Anyway, you only get 1 missile again, but this missile is a bit better. It has 55% accuracy, as you can see. So it's much more reliable. And then I guess if you don't hit it, you can still use your rockets. Not that you'd probably want to, because the rockets, yeah, will probably get you killed in this case. But 20% ACM, again, same stuff. Look, all of these base stats at the bottom are staying the same for all of these Jaguars. Just this Jaguar comes with clusters, which is 4 305kg cluster bombs with 9 penetration. So pretty decent, actually. Nice for just slamming those heavier tanks. Then we have the Mirage F1C200. I'm actually quite a big fan of these. For 175 points, it's a good loadout. 2 air-to-air infrared missiles, 2 semi-active radar missiles, 20% ACM, 1,485 km/h speed. Fantastic for shooting down helicopters at the start of the game. Fantastic for intercepting enemy aircraft. Big fan of these. There's also the F1CT. Now this gets 2 400kg bombs. I don't know if these are planned to be like GBUs, where they have where they can be guided. Like they do have like that 100% accuracy, but I just don't think it's implemented yet. Anyway, 2 400kg bombs for 210 points is pretty good, to be honest, especially considering how fast this thing is with 30% ACM. Then we have the Mirage 2000C RDI, which is another decent air-to-air choice. For 195 points, you get basically the same missiles as the F1. It's just because this is the Mirage 2000C, you get the extra air optics, and you also get the extra ACM there. So that's the primary difference. Also, the semi-active radar missile is actually better. Quite a bit better. 7,775 meter range with 50% accuracy. That's a big upgrade, actually, for a good 20 points. Then we have the Mirage 5F. This is 240 points. It's a big old bomber. It's a full payload. Look at that. It's got the Magic 2 missiles on the wings, the 2 infrared missiles on the far end, and then it's got loads of bombs. It's got 10 bombs. 250kg bombs. Definitely going to be leaving a line of destruction. But I'm not a huge fan of anything less than 400kg generally when it comes to bombs, because they don't really do as much damage as you'd like, and because suppression isn't really a thing, it's just cohesion, it's not really worth bombing for the sake of it, for the sake of cohesion drop, I guess. Especially for 240 points. So I'm not a huge fan of this aircraft, to be honest. But that is all of the units. Alright, let's head back to the logistics tab. We'll throw in some of those trucks. We'll definitely bring in both cards of the Puma Kangaroos, and we'll throw in one card of the P4 PC. We will then have a look at infantry. So we're definitely going to be bringing in the Legionnaire Para. I'm definitely going to bring in both of the Grupa Antichar. I just think dotting these around is going to be really useful. Bringing in the Milan 2 Para also going to be super important, especially considering they can go in buildings now. And then we just want probably the Sapper Para with the flamethrowers. I'm just going to check the transports here. I don't think there's really much choice in that regard. And then there's no option for any leaders in the tank tab, so we have to kind of pick a leader here or pick a leader here, but that's quite expensive. Just trying to think what I want to do with my like mainline infantry. The Chasseur Para are good because they're cheaper, but they come in at higher veterancy, so generally they're going to be better infantry versus infantry. And they also have the LRAC, but the Appalachian is just good. Then I've got two cards of the Grupa Antichar. So I think we go Chasseur Para with one of these choices. And I think the best choice is just the biggest squad, the 8-man squad. So we'll take the leader for the Sapper Para. Let's move on to the artillery tab. I'm going to put in a card of the VLRA PMB just to provide smoke. And then I think I am going to add both cards of these, even though I said they were a bit trash. But that's just because you need some artillery. I'm going to add the P4 Milan Para. The reason these are better than these is not... well, it's because they're Jeeps. They're smaller. And so they have better stealth. Like, these have good stealth. This VLRA Milan, it has more ammo, but it has mediocre stealth. So, yeah, I don't think this is actually worth more money. This probably should be actually the same price, somewhat. Anyway, definitely going to be adding both cards of these, because they're going to be good to just run around with and kill stuff. Then we have the Recon tab, where I'm going to add both of these cards in the VLRA trucks. We won't then need these guys. The only trouble with that is it's quite expensive. I do want to try out these. And I do want a helicopter. Like, I'm kind of tempted to bring in these guys as well. I'm going to add them for now. Like, the VBL Milan is another good choice. Let's take out one of the card of the Para SAS, and we'll drop in a VBL Milan. Yeah, that seems like a good idea. Okay, let's move on to the AA. AA is quite expensive here. Like, it goes up really fast in price. So I think we go Mistrals, and we grab the VLRA Pamela. Potentially the Celtic. Oh, you got a real lack of... yeah. I don't know. We'll come back to that. We will chuck in some Hot 2s. And then the air tab, we're going to have to fill this out with anti-air. So it's nice. This card's nice because you get 3 on a card. So what I might do is grab one card of these and one card of these. We'll definitely want some cluster. I want the HGM planes. This seed is better, so I am going to take it. And yeah, could probably drop something somewhere else. I'm thinking we drop the helicopter. to grab more aircraft. So I don't need napalm, I don't need the HGM. The rocket Jaguar could be fun. Actually, this Jaguar is pretty good. The normal HE Jaguar. It's either this one or this one. They're basically the same. It's just they've got different payloads. I think this one's better for now, because these bombs don't really work as intended. I think when they do, I mean, they might do already, I just haven't tried them, but if they do become like guided, then I think they could be really strong. For now, that's looking pretty good indeed. This will be the 11th. I'm just going to call them the 11E Division Parachutiste, because otherwise I'll get confused. Great. There we go. That is it. Let me go ahead and save that. We'll get the overview up of them. That is my deck. I think the infantry here is really important. You know, you've got these Legionnaire Para with their Appelas, you've got more Appelas, you've got Milan 2s everywhere, like Milan 2s in Tank Tab, Milan 2s here. So HGMs and controlling the open with HGMs super important, and then you'll be like flanking with the ERC 90s. And then also some of your recon units, whilst also doing damage to anything you can't deal with otherwise with your air force. So like enemy aircraft coming in and attacking you, you have to bring in your air force to deal with it, because your anti-air, whilst the Mistrals are good, this will mainly deal with helicopters for you, not with enemy aircraft. Although I say that, if you get enough Mistrals up, you'll shoot down any aircraft that come over the top. It's just they have to get into range. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting playstyle for sure, this division. I'm looking forward to using it. And I will of course bring gameplay of both the new divisions, so if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, and I will hopefully see you guys in the next videos. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. See you in the next one. Goodbye.